The Armenian-Azerbaijan conflict ultimately began in the 7th century when Azerbaijan fell to the Arabs in war and further led to the conversion of the Islamic faith. In 1928, Russia annexed lands of Azerbaijan and most of Armenia. In the late 1800s, over 500,000 Armenians were settled in Azerbaijan. This mass migration led to the separation of heavily Armenian settled areas from the rest of Azerbaijan. The basis of the conflict between the Armenians and Azerbaijanis is over who should be in control of this land that later became known as the Nagorno-Karabakh territory. Many Armenians and Azerbaijanis are both settled here. It is located within Azerbaijan's borders, however, around 95% of Armenians live here. In 1918, both countries claimed the region was theirs. This led to conflict and violence between these two ethnicities. Then, in 1923, under the rule of the USSR, this region became part of Azerbaijan. It had self-rule, and in the next following decades, it developed much faster. Then, later, in the 1980s, as the Soviet Union fell apart, conflicts began to break out once again over this territory. In 1988, the Armenian government voted to reunify the land with the rest of Armenia. This made the Azerbaijans extremely angry, which led to the massacre of hundreds of Armenians. In return, the Armenians did the same back to the Azerbaijani. This led to a genocide on both sides. In 1991, the land of Nagorno-Karabakh was declared independent. However, 1 year later, in 1992, a full-scale war broke out in that region. Fighting continued for 3 years until in 1994 when Russia ended the war with a ceasefire. Over 30,000 people died on each side. During this war, ethnic minorities from each side were forced to flee their homes. Since this war, none of the refugees have been able to return. Within the last year, these problems have begun to flare up again, but on a much lower scale. In August of 2014, minor conflicts have led to the killing of many troops. In November of 2014, an Armenian helicopter was downed by Azerbaijan forces. On September 24, 2015, 3 people were killed by Azerbaijani at the Azerbaijan border. Violence still remains between these two, although it has not escalated into a full-scale war again.